Okay, good morning, ladies. Actually, good afternoon. It's afternoon, isn't it? Hello, everyone. How you doing? We're going to start with today's lesson. Today, we're doing video for 112. How can I generalize a pattern? Now, we're going to jump right in. So just follow along with me, please. Finding and generalizing patterns. Often, mathematics is described as the study of patterns. Today, you will preview future work with patterns by studying two tile patterns and using them to make predictions. As you work with these patterns, consider the following questions. And I want you to think about these questions as you're looking at it. How do I see the pattern? How is it changing? And is there another way to find a solution? What you will notice is that this pattern has more than one way that you could look at it. And it's just a matter of finding the easiest way, perhaps, and the way that works for you the best. Okay? Now, I'm going to walk you through one of these patterns today. Tomorrow, you will be asked to go ahead and do that pattern, a different pattern in which you show what's going on in your situation. So just kind of get the hang of it today as we're doing it together. Okay? Here we go. Here is the pattern that you're looking at. And your task is to, problem 1-9, growing, 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 part 1. Copy the tile pattern shown below onto graph paper. Okay? Today's notes do need to be on graph paper, so please make sure you have a piece of graph paper. Hopefully I said it in class, hopefully I remember it to say it in class, but the work we're doing is on graph paper, and it's going to be a whole lot easier if you do it on graph paper. It is also going to be a whole lot more exact. During your review preview, which we'll do in class tomorrow, it will also have you do a pattern, so that also needs to be on graph paper. Trust me, it's a whole lot easier. So please have a full sheet of graph paper. We're going to take notes on graph paper for this, okay? So what I need you to do, first of all, is read the directions. Look what it says. Copy the tile pattern shown below onto graph paper. So at this point, I do want you, in just a minute, you're going to pause the video, and you're going to copy this pattern onto your graph paper. You have here figure 2, figure 3, and figure 4. And if you notice, problem A says draw the first, 5th, and 6th figure on your graph paper. Now we're going to do that together, but you're going to need to have some space for it. So on your graph paper, please make sure you leave some room for figure 1. You know, probably figure 1 is going to be over here to the left, figure 1. And then probably figure 5 and 6 we're going to put on the bottom because they're going to get a little bit big, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video now and please copy figure 2, 3, and 4, leaving space for figure 1, and then we'll put figure 5 and 6 below it. Got it? When you are done with that, unpause the video and we will continue. Okay, so you should have paused the video. You should have copied figure 2, 3, and 4 on your paper, and you should have that good to go now. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we need to analyze this pattern. We need to look at these figures and try to figure out what on earth is going on. How is it growing? And remember what it said. It said, can you think of the ways that it's growing? Look at the questions I wanted you to ask. How do I see the pattern? How is it changing? Is there another way to find a solution? So think about it. As you were copying this figure down, which actually helps you, as you were copying this figure down, did you get any ideas of, oh, you know, I think it's going like this? If you haven't, go ahead and pause the video again and really look at the pattern and see if you can find a connection. How do you think we would draw figure 1, 5, and 6? Okay? When you think you have an idea, unpause the video and see if you are correct. Okay, so you paused it, you hopefully have an idea. Maybe I will match your idea. Maybe my idea will be a whole lot different. Now, I do think it is easier to start with figure 5 and 6 first. Figure 1 can often be kind of confusing, okay? So what I want you to look at is look at figure 2. Now, there's a lot of ways you could break down this shape. I'm going to try to break down this shape in the way I see easiest to kind of understand it. And here's what I noticed. See if you follow along with me. In all 3 of these figures, figure 2, 3, and 4, I noticed that there is one lonely square at the top. Now, some of you chose to separate it that way. Some of you saw this as an entire line, and you used the entire line. That is fine. I'm not choosing to do that, okay? So I'm saying I've just got one square at the top no matter what. I also think, hey, look at this side over here. I've got one square sticking out of here, I've got two squares sticking out here now, and here I've got three squares. Interesting. So figure 2 has one at the top, one at the top, one at the top. That doesn't change. The figure 2 has one square here, figure 3 has 2, and figure 4 has 3. Kind of get the idea? Can you kind of predict what's going to happen? And then the last thing I notice is that what is left is a rectangle. And that rectangle seems to have 2 this way and 3 this way. So 2 squares and 3 squares. Figure 3 has 3 squares this way and 4 squares this way. And figure 4 has 4 squares this way and 5 squares this way. Does that make sense? And that's a full rectangle. So breaking it down that way, do you think now you could draw figure 5 and 6? I think I can, so I'm going to give it a shot. Now, I have a slightly different way of doing it, which is a little bit easier. And if you go to your online book, there is an online book on problem 1.9. It does say you can explore on this. So if you open problem 1.9 on your online book, you would have access to this. But this does allow me to drag squares over to it if I wanted to. I still think that it's going to take me a little bit too long, so I'm just going to draw them out, okay? So here we go. Now, first of all, again, you see the figures. Hey, figure 2 has 2 this way and 3 this way, and it has 1 sticking out here and it has 1 at the top. So let's start drawing. I'm going to start drawing this rectangle first. Now, again, I notice figure 2 has 2 and 3, figure 3 has 3 and 4, figure 4 has 4 and 5. So it does seem to be that this figure number is the same as the bottom length. So figure 5 is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom. And then the top, the height of this rectangle seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Figure 4 has 5, 3 has 4, 2 has 3. So it seems to be 1 more than the figure number. So figure 5 should have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is my rectangle that goes on the bottom corner of my shape. It's a 5 by 6 rectangle. Okay? Cool. Oh, now I do know the top. Remember the top? It's just 1 tile. So I'm just going to put the 1 tile here on the corner. Cool. Now think about this end here. Figure 2 has 1. Figure 3 has 2. Figure 4 has 3, so of course figure 5 should have, well, you guessed it, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There is my figure 5. Cool, okay? So, do you think you can do figure 6 on your own right now? And that's actually my challenge. Can you pause the video, please, and draw figure 6 and, well, let's go with figure 6, okay? Go. When you're done, unpause it. Or if you're not sure, you can just follow along with me. All right, so here we go, figure 6. Let's go to it. The bottom of my rectangle here, it's the same. So I'm going to go, or it's the same as the figure number. So figure 6 is going to have 6 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's going to have 1 more than the figure number on this left side. So it's going to go figure 6. It's going to go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you see how I counted this rectangle twice or this square twice? Here is my rectangle. It's a 6 by 7 rectangle. I'm going to run out of room, aren't I? Okay, but we'll address that in just a second. I do still have the 1 tile at the top that I've always had. And then here, figure 2 has 1. Figure 3 has 2. Figure 4 has 3. Figure 5 has 4. Therefore, this must have 1 less than the figure number, which would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Okay, imaginary one there, 5. So this is a 6 by 7 rectangle with 1 tile here and with 5 tiles here. That is my figure 6. Is that what you got? Hopefully. Now, one last challenge. Can you do figure 1? Careful with this one. This one's the trickiest one. Unpause when you think you got it. Okay, I do really hope you guys are actually pausing and trying this, because if you're just sitting there spacing out and just kind of, just tell me, Mr. Ramirez, because I don't want to think, that's all you're going to get out of this, okay? You get what you put into it, and right now, I hope you're pushing yourself, okay? All right, well, let's start with the rectangle. Figure 2, again, this bottom part of the rectangle seems to be the same as figure number, so I must have a figure 1. And the height is 1 more than the figure number. So figure number 1, that means it must go up 2, doesn't it? Okay? All right. Now, next, what about the top? I always seem to have this extra square at the top, so therefore I should have the square here. Good. Now, figure 2 has 1, figure 3 has 2 down here in the bottom right corner, so figure 1 should have nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here, just these 3 tiles, is figure number 1. Is that what you had? I hope so. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Do you see how the pattern is going? Now, is this the only way to see the pattern? Absolutely not. There might have been another way that you think is easier, and that is okay, all right? But this is just the way I saw it, so that's what I'm sharing with you. Now, I want to go back to here. We do have a couple other questions we need to address kind of quickly here. Question number, or letter B, how is the pattern changing? Now, what I would expect to see there is a sentence explaining this. So for example, I would say, hey, the pattern is growing by, well, let's see. And it's probably easiest for me to type it, so I'm going to type it. I know that's kind of lazy on my part when you guys have to handwrite it, but that's just the way it is, okay? There has to be some advantage to being the teacher, right? Right? I hope so. Okay, so here we go. Follow along with me. And you should be writing this stuff on your note. Guys, I expect to see these notes. All you're doing this, you're following along, so please be trying these out. The shape has a square at the top, always. It also has a rectangle. Rectangle. That has a base. I has. All right. This gives you a chance to make sure you get it. I am typing while trying to look off the big screen, so it's a little bit hard to do here. Has a base the same height as the figure number. And sorry, I got distracted there. As a base, the same length as a figure number, and the height that is 1 more than the figure number. Finally, on the right. I think I might have done better if I just hand wrote it, but oh well, I already started, so we're going to finish it off. On the right, it has a row of squares that is 1 less than the figure number. Okay? Does that make sense? Do you see how that is a pattern that we saw? That's a pattern that I chose to follow. Now again, if you saw it a little bit differently, you might have these written out a little bit different. But that's what I saw. That's a pattern I followed. Okay? So if you need to, pause the video and go from there. Okay? Go pause the video and copy that down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me, because your challenge is to answer question C, which says, what would the 100th figure look like? How many tiles would it have? How can you justify your prediction? Now, I am not asking you to draw figure 100, because figure 100 will be gigantic. But what I'm asking you to do is to describe it, okay? So what you could do, you could describe it in words, but I think, the easiest thing to do would be to maybe draw out the rectangle and actually identify the parts and tell me what each part would have. How many tiles would be going this direction? Kind of like we did here. Okay, just imagine not the graph paper, just imagine numbers in the rectangle. How many tiles would go in each section? And how many total tiles would figure 100 have? That is what I want you to have. I want you to do it on that same paper. I want you to have those notes. Tomorrow we're going to discuss and see how many of you get it right. Okay? All right, so for the rest of tonight, all you have to do is answer that question. Also, if you have not already, you should have finished the review preview in class. So your task now is to upload that picture. Remember to upload the picture. Maybe you got it done in class already, and that is great. But if you haven't, you need to upload a picture of your notes from class, or the notes from the video, the notes from class, and the review preview. All of that is your 1.1.1, and that needs to get uploaded to Google Classroom. So take a picture of those things. It might be one picture, it might be two pictures, it might even be 3 pictures if you took that much space, and that's okay. Upload them all to your Google Classroom 1.1.1 lesson before 11:59 tonight. Got it? That should be it. All right, I hope it's pretty quick and easy to do. And if you have questions, feel free to check with me. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.